affairs. Facts and opinion. Their future in our hands. Markets. Globalist technocrats versus the people. A line in the sand. The McIntyre Report.
And welcome back. Charlie McIntyre reporting here live for Australian National Review, independent media out of Australia. We just don't film from our broadcast studio out of Australia because it's not safe in Australia. Australia is a globalist puppet state controlled by a fake foreign state created in 1948, just like America is the United States of Israel. So until people understand, if you want to understand how the world works, what's going to happen, be able to predict the future like we've been accurately able to predict now since we launched in 2013. We told you, I think about Bitcoin back then, that you should buy it when it was well below $100. If you'd listened, you'll become very wealthy. We told you that gold would go up substantially. We told you that real estate would go up a lot, especially in Australia. We also told you start investing into Bali and Indonesia and getting some of your assets, relocate yourself or your money out of the West while you can, because digital ID is coming, lockdowns on your money. The Reserve Bank of Australia is leading the way in central bank digital currencies. And even though people voted for Trump, we supported Trump. I reported when I was live at CPAC, Washington in February this year, that unfortunately the political revolution we were promised under Trump, MAGA, Make America Great, you'd assume is America first, right? Didn't eventuate. Unfortunately, as I was able to highlight there, we saw everywhere, Elon Musk through to Milei, the Argentinian president, even Nigel Farage, any speaker, and all the Trump administration, we witnessed firsthand, or Zionists. You have to be a Zionist to get to speak at CPAC, the largest political conservative conference in the world, and it was bad news. Zionists in full control. Zionists, the right faction, that is Netanyahu and his bosses, fully in control of the Trump administration. Now, some people still want to believe Trump is going to save America. But even if he wanted to, can he? Does he have the power? Netanyahu's the president of the United States. He's the president of Australia as well. He's president of the UK. Israel is a banking cartel state, not the biblical Israel that many people read about in the Bible. That's thousands of years old. This is a fake modern-day state created in 1948 that fraudulently ripped off the name Israel to fool Christians and make them Christian Zionists, whatever the hell that is. That means simply Christians have been lied to and think they should stand with biblical Israel and getting confused with modern-day Israel. And then the Rothschilds, who, dear Lord Rothschilds, the Balfour Declaration 1917, who are the founders of Israel and three terror groups, who are atheists, who actually hate Christians and don't believe in God, they told you they're God's chosen ones, and nobody bothered to fact check in 1948. And here we have a situation in the world where this fake banking cartel state that prints funny money through the Federal Reserve, which they took control of in the 1913. I wrote about it in my first book, What I Didn't Learn at School, but wish I had 25 years ago. Once was just a conspiracy theory, but many people now know, as the Fed soon will be dead, the Federal Reserve is not federal, and there's zero reserves. That's why China and Russia and BRIC nations have been buying up so much gold, and that's why you've seen in recent days gold reach $4,000 an ounce. We told you to buy gold and silver years ago. Those who did would be richer. We told you to buy Bitcoin. 2013, many of our clients, we've helped our clients now make over $10 billion collectively. We're not saying that to impress you, but impress upon you. If you understand geopolitics, it can make you very rich. Now, you should want to understand geopolitics and the truth of the world, regardless of whether it can make you money. But if you want to be able to predict the future accurately, like we have consistently been able to do without a crystal ball, because we don't have a crystal ball, we just have common sense, do our independent research, or if you don't have the time to be a political commentator, analyst, here's the simple truth, as I highlighted before. Just listen to what fake news media told you, the intelligence agencies, which are all controlled by Israel. CIA is controlled by Mossad, your Western agencies, etc., controlled largely by Mossad, by Israel, the fake state that controls the West. Whatever they're telling you, whatever the media is telling you, whatever their puppet politicians are telling you is the lie. So it's the complete opposite. So we were able to put up $1 million immediately, even before we started investigations into who killed Charlie Kirk. We said Israel did it. How do we put up $1 million and bet our house on it so confidently, even without any investigation? Because we know, one, they have motive, we told you, and patterns of, they have capacity to do it. They have capability. It was clearly an professional assassination job. It wasn't a lone gunman, they try and tell you clearly. Someone on a rooftop, some people in the crowd as decoys. You got to get the gun onto the roof past security. You got to get the gun off. You got to hide it. You got to disappear. I mean, that requires large amount of scale and security detail. So it's an intelligence operation. If it's an intelligence operation, that means who runs the intelligence agencies in the West? That would be Mossad, which is Israel. So even before any investigation, had they done this before? Yes. Who does all the political assassinations on the planet if it's not largely Israel? Have they assassinated presidents in America and around the world and political influencers in America before? Yes, they have. Would they do it again if they wanted to? Yes, they could. And then we raised that within 24 hours to $10 million because we said if Israel did it, here's what you will look for. One, they'll deny it consistently. Netanyahu went on every podcast and TV show possible. He's meant to be running a country and bombing 7 nations. It was enough time to go and talk about a podcaster, an influencer, Charlie Kirk, being killed and denying that Israel had nothing to do with it. Strange. Why do you need to tell us that? What other president of what other country has gone around the world telling us that Israel had nothing to do with it? Didn't hear Putin or Chinese president or Iranian president needing to deny that they did it because no one suspects that they did it. But everyone with a knowledge of independent truth knows Israel, of course, is the prime suspect. So that's why they'll deny it. Now, if we could just wanted to bet our house, we could bet our house on that's enough proof because if Netanyahu has never told the truth, has been lying to you in the US Congress for decades, starting war after war after war, those famous weapons of mass destruction to invade Iraq, 7 wars in 5 years. General Wesley Clark was told by the Pentagon within days of the Israeli September 11th hit. That's why they did September 11th, was to get America to support 7 wars in 5 years. They didn't know that was coming. And those 7 wars have now occurred. It's taken 24 years from to start bombing Iran earlier this year. That was the final country after Syria. They used their ISIS proxy army. That's right. Yeah, ISIS belongs to Israel, just like Hamas was created and funded by Israel up in 2012. And then they begged Qatar to continue funding Hamas ever since. They funded the head offices in Qatar. That's where they knew how to bomb them a few weeks ago and try and kill the peace negotiators because Israel doesn't want peace. Israel doesn't give a damn about their hostages. They've been bombing the hostages in Gaza to death ever since and starving them. And they slaughtered 1,100 or almost all of the 1,100 Israelis, if you don't know that, on October 7th. October 7th was an Israeli inside job. You realize that. Even Charlie Kirk figured that out. What was the stand-down orders on October 7th? Yes, there was clearly. Netanyahu was clearly behind it. That's why he's very guilty. Now, the evidence is coming out that Charlie Kirk indeed was under pressure by Jewish donors, was losing millions of dollars in Jewish donors. And just days before his death, he said because he had hosted Tucker Carlson at Turning Point and he was going to bring Candace Owens back. Candace has been confirmed and validated that she's talking the truth, not the bullshit of the fake news media that's trying to tell you Tyler Robertson, some leftist transgender, killed Charlie Kirk, which we know. If that's the official story we know, that's clearly not the truth. It's the complete opposite, right? The complete opposite. So she's been validated and that there was clear motive. Israel hated Charlie Kirk in recent times because Charlie Kirk in the text even stated that he was no longer going to push the pro-Israel cause. He thought Netanyahu was a bully. He declined Netanyahu's invitation to go and see Netanyahu in Israel, and he turned back a reported $150 million offer from Israel and their billionaire donors, more money into Turning Point America. Turning Point was built and funded by Israel. It was a propaganda outlet, just like Ben Shapiro is funded by Israel and Jordan Peterson and many of these others. But Charlie, and as I said before, we're going to have Charlie headline the Free Speech Summit, Australian National Review, hosted a bit over 2 months ago in Gold Coast, Australia, which was targeted by Israel to try and stop it going ahead. The only nation that had their activists try and stop it, and they were able to get Australian government, this is the level of control they have over immigration policy in Australia, even some hours before their flights, American speakers that were anti-Israel coming to the event. Why wasn't Russia trying to ban the Free Speech Summit? Why wasn't China trying to ban the Free Speech Summit? Because they have nothing to hide. Israel has everything to hide. They don't want people criticizing Israel, even Charlie Kirk. You get Charlie Kirk, but we said we'd have Charlie headline the summit as one of the profile speakers, but only on the condition, I said to my team, that Charlie has to agree to debate with me, a live debate on why we should stand with Israel. Otherwise, I wasn't interested in having him speak because he was pro-Israel. At the same time, unbeknown to me, Charlie was going through a turning point in his life, and other commentators and his supporter base were turning against Israel, and he was starting to get J-pilled. In other words, starting to realize that his beloved Israel, modern-day state created in 1948, isn't the actual Israel he would have studied in the Bible, as many Christians have, and he's starting to realize the horrible truth that it was a devil's trick and that Israel was the evil ones, and he turned against Israel. Now, of course, if you're in funding and your career is being built by Israel and you turn against them, they're going to teach you a lesson. They're going to Charlie Kirk you, and they did. We have put up $10 million, and no one has taken the money. If Israel was innocent, surely someone would go, I'll take $10 million off you. I can prove Israel didn't do it, but no one. Because we have 99.9% certainty. We would happy go to court of law, go to court in a fair court against Israel now with all the evidence that we have that Israel did it. Well, here's just a bit more evidence if you haven't watched it.
Take a look at the lavalier. Check this out.
Oh, way. If you want security, the Israelis know what they're doing.
This is the Israeli company that went and grabbed the device or whatever it is, allegedly.
Here it is from the wide angle. Watch Charlie Kirk's right side of his t-shirt. Watch the lavalier lapel mic. Do you see it explode? Let's bring it in just a little bit closer. Watch this. Put it in a freeze frame. That is the explosion from Charlie Kirk's lavalier lapel mic. Want to see it again? Bring it in closer. Remember when we told you that that was absolutely an exit wound? Yeah, it is. Check the trajectory of the round that was deployed from that lavalier lapel mic. That went directly from Charlie Kirk's lapel. That went directly from underneath Charlie Kirk's white t-shirt up through his neck and created the exit wound that we told you was an exit wound immediately when we saw that exit wound. First we had exploding pagers. Now we have exploding mics. Do you remember the vector analysis from John Bray? That proves that all of the activity came from the mic that Charlie Kirk was wearing. Remember the palm gun guy in the brown shirt, that shadowy looking guy with the sunglasses? Yeah, he pushes the detonator. Clear as day.
Counting gang violence. Great.
That's the assassin. That's the guy that pushes the detonator, which perfectly aligns with the explosion that pushes that projectile through Charlie's right side of his neck and out the left side, creating the exit wound. That might just look like the chaos that you would expect after someone was publicly executed in broad daylight in front of 3,000 people. But in no way did that trigger man, that assassin in the brown shirt with the sunglasses, act alone. We have video now from Destiny that shows the handoff of this remote detonator. We had John Cullen on the program last week, and he made a great point about ballistic acoustics being altered to hide the location of the real shooter. Well, the same can be said to distract from the fact that there was no shooter. Tyler Robinson did not kill Charlie Kirk. This guy, brown shirt guy, he's the assassin.
This is the most likely probable cause. Now, what we told people, we said, look, if Israel did it, one, they will come out denying it, guilty. They will then tell you the opposite. It's a leftist, it's a lone government and a leftist transgender. How do we know that and tell you in advance? That's what they would tell you. And look, the Lee Harvey Oswald, Tyler Robertson is a decoy shooter, just like they killed JFK. So if you look at the pattern, what Israel did with killing JFK, they have a lone gunman to set up to a Patsy and frame, and also magicians trick as a decoy. And the person actually killed JFK was one of the security detail, very close range. So we said, if you want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk, don't be distracted and manipulated. It's the decoy, the Lee Harvey Oswald, the Tyler Robinson, the Patsy that's set up to be framed. And so all the dumbed down Westerners that swallow fake news and think fake news is the truth because they're a fake person and can't tell what's fake and what's real, because they're too busy worshiping fake pieces of paper called money that these fake Jewish imposters print through the Federal Reserve and loan to your fake governments, which they bought up with this fake government. And then they charge you not fake interest, real interest. And then they charge you with your mortgages, real interest. Then they charge you real taxes, not fake taxes. They created income taxes. The reason you're taxed is they created the taxes to pay back the interest your government has to pay on the fake money they loan, which is not federal, no reserves. And then they use that to buy up the fake news media. So, and they control the agencies. Well, they created the agencies. And then these people that swallow the fake news from fake Jewish imposters that own your fake news from printing fake money, they don't know what's real, what's not, because they think what's on TV and the fake education they go to school and university is true. That's why they're so easy to be able to manipulate. But we said, look, it'll be in the security detail. The person that killed Charlie Kirk will be from close range, either a shooter from close range in security detail, or if we had to realize, how did Israel now with new technology assassinate people recently in the last 12 months? Pages, exploding devices that people have on them that they've been sent to. In this case, Charlie Kirk had the lapel mic under his shirt, not knowing that it was an explosive device would put a projectile through his and kill him here. This is why there's an exit wound here. If he was shot from long range with the sort of gun he was shot with, it would have blew a hole in him, but it would have went through here and it would have been an exit wound. Candace Owens was able to get access to the camera from behind Charlie, and it showed no exit wound. And then the bullshit story was, oh, that's because the bullet went into his spine and he's the man of steel and saved people behind him. I mean, it's just kind of bullshit, right? No autopsy done, etc. So he wasn't shot from the front. He had an exploding device here, which showed why there was an exit wound here, projectile through here. Now, those who are saying Charlie faked his death, he's still alive, I'm sorry. But if you think that to be true and you're willing to stake your reputation on something that's not impossible to be done, yes, it can happen, but the probability of that is so low. It's like dare say that's an Israeli psyops to fool the people that are woken up to fake news and don't follow fake news anymore, but they've gone all the way too far and giant the people on the left, a lot of the fake news swallowers, can't join any dots. They can't figure it out. But the people that did wake up, someone go too far and join every dot. If you think Charlie Kirk is alive, message me now. My WhatsApp number is along the bottom of the screen, and I'll bet you. So I'm sick of people saying Charlie Kirk's alive. If you believe that, bet your house. I'll toss you for your house, because it's nonsense. The chance of him being alive might be 1%. Yes, they can fake deaths. But if you think the force of something under Charlie's shirt with that much aggressive force, that you could survive that, and if you think, if you're pissed off Israel, you've taken their money and then you've turned against them, had a turning point in your life, and now are going to be anti-Israel, and you're a major influencer, have the president's ear as well, and under 30s is what Israel is wanting to stop people turning. That's why they just bought TikTok. It wasn't stop China spying on you. It was because too many people on TikTok are anti-Israel. So now we buy TikTok. They can now ban you, censor you. So Charlie Kirk is dead, unfortunately. We would love to be wrong, and we're more than happy to be wrong on that. But I'm just telling you, don't bet your house on it. We're willing to bet $10 million. Israel did it, and no one will take that up. There's my number on the screen right now. Message any questions anytime, and I'll ask the appropriate questions on stage on my show. Or you can, of course, offer your house. I'll toss you for it. That Charlie Kirk is dead, and that Israel are the ones that killed him.
Erica Kirk was introduced to Charlie Kirk through Donald Trump. She had been procured for like Donald Trump's pageants. She won like Miss Arizona or something. She was literally like a registered actress and starred in a reality TV show, a romance one at that. He met her on a trip to Israel. Charlie met her on one of these wall humping trips. So the Israeli connections, and then J.D.
What was
Sharp
she doing in
tells me-
Israel?
Well, she was on a pilgrimage.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I just learned, J.D. Sharp, Jason Dick, the founder of Uncensored AI, just told me that her dad, Erica Kirk's dad, is one of the founders or creators of Raytheon Israel Ltd. Raytheon Israel creates the weapon systems and defense systems like the Iron Dome,
Right.
and soaks up trillions of, collectively trillions of U.S. taxpayer dollars over the course of the last, however
Right.
many decades, billions of dollars annually.
From what I understand, Erica Kirk's father formed Raytheon Israel's division and was the former chairperson / president. I believe he's retired now, but he was actively involved in that particular operation.
That's ridiculous.
All of these connections. They had the custody of Charlie Kirk's body in the custody of J.D. Vance aboard some private jet, going to God knows where. And within 24 hours, Erica Kirk is releasing this propaganda video of Charlie Kirk's hand and the rings and the I love you and the crying and the sobbing.
That young man. I forgive him.
She's solidifying the narrative that he's guilty. No matter what, about a court appearance, anything else, that resonated with every Christian because they're supposed to be forgiving.
Yeah.
And that just subliminally, subconsciously, or very overtly put, yep, he's guilty, he did it, he's responsible, but Erica forgives him. And now she's the champion of TPUSA to come rushing in, building all of these other extensions and satellite, different clubs all over the place. Well,
they're basically trying to build her up to be the next president. They're essentially seeing like, hey, this is a woman that we could set up maybe in 8 to 12 years.
Yeah. Well, they then will be able to just solidify this Judeo-Christian, alliance, and that Israel was great and that Charlie loved the Jews and all these things, while completely disregarding the 5 weeks, leading up to his death, where he began to actually ask about this and point out this occupation.
Wow. Now, obviously, there's a lot of information coming out about Erica Kirk. A lot of people are going, well, Charlie might have faked his death because she just seems fake. I don't know enough about that yet, but investigations are coming out. Her background, a little bit sus. Both parents worked in, particularly, pretty much intelligence agencies, but companies very linked to military industrial complex and defense. And we know Israel organizes handlers, nearly everyone. Like we saw that at Washington CPAC, every speaker, they're Israeli handlers. They guide them, track them, basically make sure they stay on message. Just tell them America first, America first, America first, even though it's Israel first. You just got to appease MAGA. So keep on fooling the MAGA base so they keep on supporting our man Trump. And when Trump gets wobbly or can't keep them supporting him, obviously we got J.D. Vance we put in place, so we'll assassinate Trump or get rid of Trump and put J.D. Vance in our next puppet. And they groomed Charlie Kirk to be a future president. But then he went off track. He had a turning point in his life and realized, hey, this is lies. And Charlie, I believe, was a good Christian. He had good values and principles. He's someone not like a Ben Shapiro that for shekels will sell his grandmother. You've got to give credit to Charlie Kirk. And I always said this, that Charlie was a good Christian boy. Charlie believed in Christianity and believed in the Bible, believed what he was doing is right. And I understand that with Christian Zionists. But once he realized the truth, then because he had principle, he couldn't, for no amount of money, lie for Israel and cover up. As we know, Israel's paying, you can be an influencer and earn $6,100 to $7,100 USD. It's like 10,000 Australian per post. If you have enough following to lie for Israel, to cover up the lies, to tell people it's not a genocide. We're the good guys. We're the victims. Stand with us. We love Christians. Bullshit. $10,000. What if you did 10 posts a month? That's $100,000. You know how many people that don't have the principle, Charlie Kirk, will take money and do that? Where Charlie said no to $150 million. He didn't care if he was losing millions of dollars in donors because he could no longer lie for Israel. because he had to ask the valid question, were there stand-down orders on October 7th? Meaning Israel was complicit in that. Mossad is inside Hamas. There is no war. It was set up so they could use that as an excuse to wipe Gaza off the map and then rebuild a digital city, a digital ID, track and trace, surveillance city, a future city. If you're not worried about Gaza, you should be, because this is the blueprint if Israel gets to take over the world. Israel already runs half the world. They sucked dry the British Empire. They're sucking dry the US empire is almost on its knees. Trump was the last chance to save America. America first, but he's not. He's MAGA, make Israel great again. So America's pretty much done. They need Russia, China, Iran to take these nations down, to extend their complete one world government plan, psychopathic one world government plan, and the Greater Israel Project. And if you're not paying attention to Gaza, genocide, destroy, rebuild a digital ID city. Track and trace, central bank digital currency, which the Australian Reserve Bank is trialing, one of the advanced countries on that, where there'll be a bank run soon, a financial crash. And to stop the bank runs, they'll go, look, we're just freezing your bank account for a few days, everyone's bank account, and we're going to issue Reserve Bank central digital currency in each country, which is programmable money that can expire. You can be debanked instantly, like much more than they're doing now. In other words, you post something on social media that's critical of Israel, you will lose your money. You'll be locked out of society. So this is where the world's heading, particularly the West. The alternative to this, as I've said before, is the BRIC nations. They want a multipolar world. Russia, China, Iran, and all the BRIC plus nations. Indonesia's joined now. The majority of the world's population already, and soon the majority of the world's GDP is joining BRICS, opposing Israel. So you can either be on the side of fake Israel, the Jewish Rothschilds imposters, satanic pedophile elites, I want to take over the one world government with their puppets and go to war and have your children, even females, young women and men, sent off in conscription, which they're now preparing for, against Russia, against Iran, against China, and die for bankers' wars. All wars are banker wars, if you understand that. And who are the banker wanker family behind these wars? It's the Rothschilds and their other elite pedophiles. If you don't understand that, and you understand that Israel wants to take over the whole world and already runs the West, then you have no idea what's coming next. You'll think everything's fine. You'll think COVID maybe was a pandemic and there's nothing to worry about. It's all over. Folks, we'll be back with some more independent media where you'll hear the truth. Unlike fake news media, but fake news media is for fake people. Independent media for people that can handle the truth. And I know you guys can handle the truth.
What if I told you that owning a beachfront villa in Indonesia could cost less than a new car? Marina Bay City, Lombok, new release villas start from just $99,000 AUD, and they can generate up to 20% yearly rental returns, plus 50-80% capital gain while being built. Lombok is Bali's stunning, untouched neighbor, same paradise vibe, but still early and affordable. Smart investors are already moving in. Want to see how? Join our free webinar, Message Us webinar, and we'll send you the link.